What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our match reaction after the Reds have beaten Barnsley by 4-1, a result that books their place in the fourth round, where we know that Brighton and Hove Albion await for another game at Anfield. Tonight, of course, we're going to take you through our thoughts on the game, ask you for yours. As always, there will be a man of the match poll, so feel free to vote away in that once it's up. We'll have a player ratings video coming out a little bit later on, and if you'd like to be included in that and have your scores averaged out, make sure you're in the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp by scanning the QR code in the bottom right hand corner or by using the link in the description of this stream. Right, so lots to go through from that one, but there's a story I want to talk about in a second that absolutely just blows my mind, and I've got to call it out, so bear with me. Firstly, Super Chat came in that says something about how we play when a player on the losing team gets man of the match. But we did win a 4-1, and we won it at the end with a couple of late goals that seen us away. So there's good and bad to take from it. I'm not convinced by the performance by one bit, but I want to just read out something that was just sent to me by Keane, and it's from Sasha Cavalieri. And I'm going to say this with absolute sincerity. Sasha, stop talking absolute bollocks, because that's what this is. So Sasha writes, Jurgen Klopp is a solution being seriously considered by Real Madrid. They're aware that Klopp could be interested as he misses coaching. No concrete steps have been taken yet, but the general idea revolves around preparing for the 26-27 season. There is absolutely no way that he's missing coaching. That is absolute nonsense of the highest order. And stop. Just stop it. Stop it. Firstly, Klopp is so far removed from what Real Madrid stand for as a human being. Do you honestly think Jurgen Klopp is going to go in there after seeing what that they've done to manager after manager, including Xabi Alonso, and not respected them, not talked about the right footballing environment, how players conduct themselves? Not a fucking chance. And for a journalist to even write that nonsense should be laughed at. So, Mr. Sasha Cavalieri, stop writing nonsense, because that's all that is, mate. Absolute garbage. Anywho, we move on. So, on the game, delighted we won 4-1. Yeah, interested to hear about Rio's, I don't want to say injury because we don't know what it is, but that was an unfortunate thing, seeing him going off with that. Hopefully that's not too serious. It was a weird evening. We started off by giving up a chance inside 30 seconds where they hit the post. And, I want to start off by giving full credit to Barnsley for coming and playing and having a real go. And to their fans, and I think they can all be very proud of the performance that they put in tonight. 4-1 as a scoreline, in all honesty, I think probably flatters us a little bit and undervalues the effort that Barnsley put into the game. But as a Liverpool fan, look, I'm really happy with a 4-1 win. Should have been much easier work than we made it be. We pulled away at the end, but we shouldn't have had to turn to the bench to bring on the likes of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike and Ibrahim Konate. And look, in truth, you can see that those substitutions, they made the difference. Wirtz got a golden assist when he came off. Hugo got a golden assist when he came on, or when they came on, excuse me. But I guess the negative part about that is, and this maybe will be where people think I'm being negative thinking, is the style of football that the manager has and the way that those players were so one-paced led to him having to use the bench in a strong way to kill off the game. Whereas at home, we should have been dealing with Barnsley a lot easier with the 11 that was put out there to start the game. And I think that's an indictment of the coach, personally. So, yeah, I didn't think, if you said to me yesterday, Craig, you're going to win 4-1, and yet you're going to still be feeling annoyed about the manager based off the games, I probably would have felt like I was being an asshole. But that's honestly how I feel. Won the game, delighted we won it, but I'm still no more convinced by the style of football under Arne than I was before it. But again, just happy we're through. Ryan said, Ali McCoy clearly hates Liverpool. It made out it was an even game just because Barnsley were able to create a couple of chances. Well, look, I wouldn't say Ali McCoy hates Liverpool at all, based off my previous understandings, but I haven't heard any of his comments from tonight. So, I'll have to take your word for it because, like I said, I haven't heard a word he said. But you're not on your own, by the way, because Red's Army said McCoy is a disgrace. The guy is so biased they actually gave man of the match to a Barnsley player. They actually lost 4-1, mate. Embarrassing. Machushi says Szoboszlai was top again regardless of that one mistake. Yeah, look, he was. And it was just that, a mistake. The only thing I'd be interested in with the mistake was what was going through his mind when he was trying to do it. Is more what I'd like to know rather than anything else. Like, it is what it is. You know, he scored a world, he had a mistake, he's a great player, we move on. But on the Ali McCoy stuff, like, I don't know. You guys have heard that I haven't, so I wouldn't get so worked up about giving a Barnsley player man of the match, because more so, maybe it's a kind gesture, if you get me. Like, as I said, I don't know because I'm not listening to the comms, but maybe just kind of feels like this is a nice thing to do for a Barnsley player to go home with a man of the match award for a game against Liverpool. I don't know. But what I would say is I think Barnsley can be proud of themselves and the effort they put in today, and they've done their club no harm whatsoever. After that, we won the game 4-1 and we're in the next round. So, you know, McCoy can give man of the match to whomever he wants, really. Our man of the match poll, though, it is live, and the options that we've given you are Jeremy Frimpong, Dominic Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz, and Hugo Ekitike. So they are your options for the Anfield Agenda man of the match. Yeah, I don't know where he's getting the game was even from. I mean, I have the stats open in front of me now, and I'm going to run through the stats for you. I think the 4-1 probably flattered us a bit, but like there was never a chance where we really felt like we weren't going to win that game. We had 75% of the possession against their 25. Total shots, 21 for Liverpool with 7 on target. And by the way, I want to come back to this in a minute. 9 for Barnsley, 4 on target. Dangerous attacks, 109 for us, 27 for them. Corners, 11 for us, 5 for them. Total passes, 730 for Liverpool with a 91% passing accuracy. Barnsley, 232 passes with a 75% passing accuracy. And tackles, 12 apiece. The stat that I want to come back to for a minute, though, is the total shots. And just focus on it from the Liverpool side. Because time and time again, we see such a huge gap between the amount of shots that we take versus the ones that are on target compared to other teams. Even just look at Barnsley's here as a percentage. It's closer to what? It's about 45% of the shots on target. Liverpool, 33.33. And we seem to need an awful lot of shots to start racking up the on targets. And it's something I've been talking about over the course of the season. We waste a lot of shots without even troubling the goalkeeper. And that's something I would like to see Liverpool change moving forward. Do you think it's a matter of time until we see Slot gone? Yes, I do. That's my opinion. My understanding was that he was going to be gone in the summer. That was my understanding as of 2 weeks ago. But what I don't know yet, because it's still new and it's only evolving, is does the situation with Xabi Alonso change anything from Liverpool's hierarchy, from their perspective or from Hughes Ned's? That I will have more answers for you for over the next day or two, but I don't know right now. Should it? In my opinion, yes, it should. We ran a poll before the game where we asked people, do you think Liverpool should, 1, fire Slot and hire Xabi Alonso right now, 2, wait until the summer and hire Alonso, or 3, keep Slot? And 90% of the answers involved Slot getting the sacked and us bringing in Xabi Alonso. And I want to say 64% of them were fire Slot now and bringing Alonso right now. Now, there's a couple of ways we've got to think about this situation, right? We've got to think about it from a Liverpool Football Club perspective, and we've got to think about it from a Xabi Alonso perspective. 2 things. If you're a manager like Alonso and you've just left a club like Madrid, and it doesn't really matter why he left, whether it was people perceiving it as a failure or not, you're going to have to take some time to think. So if you're looking at Liverpool right now, what I'd like to believe is that Xabi Alonso would look at Liverpool now and go, that's an underperforming team that I feel I can very easily go in and fix. And I believe he could. And I believe that that's the type of mentality he has. But we can't ignore that there might be a possibility that either he or Liverpool's owners think a summer change is a cleaner change and a cleaner time to make that change. That I don't know the answers to as of yet. What I would like to see is the manager fired and Alonso brought in if he's willing to come in. But then again, I'm wanting the manager fired regardless of who the caretaker is or the next manager is, because I just don't think Arne is that guy, and I don't see my opinion in that changing in the near future. Nothing about tonight certainly changed that. I was happy with the performance against Arsenal, which was a good dogged defensive performance. So if Alonso was willing to come in and he was making the right noises, I would like to see Alonso brought in immediately. That's where my head's at. But it's not out of the realms of possibility to think that either the club or he, Alonso, may want to wait till the summer for a longer run up at it, more time to prepare. I don't know. See, I don't know what toll mentally this Real Madrid situation's taken with Alonso. He might just think, fuck, I could do with a break here. My head's melted after all the media drama and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. If Alonso showed that he was willing to come in, I would say get rid of the manager now and bring him in. But that's just my opinion. Right, let's keep going. A few more super chats I need to catch back up on. Alonso in then. For me, yes. I don't know, because I haven't had time to reach out to anybody yet to get an informed opinion on it. All I'm giving you now is Craig, the fan's opinion. And me as a fan, I think, yes, please. But like I said, that's just me giving you a fan opinion. I'm not trying to say it's going to happen because I don't know the answer to that yet. Can we sign Cleary now, please? Phenomenal player, said find the pass. I doubt it, is the honest answer. CPGKTU said, another good win under the belt, always tricky in the FA Cup. Agree with fellow fan, giving man of the match to Barnsley player after getting whacked off the park is ridiculous and biased from McCoist. Like I said, I didn't hear any of the comms, but I respect your opinion on it. And I wouldn't stress about it too much either way. Like, I tried to think about it like this. A Barnsley player is going home with a nice little accolade that he'll probably appreciate for the rest of his life. Whereas if it went to a Liverpool player, it'd probably go home and join the many other accolades that they've had. So, I tried to think about it like that. But it does feel weird, definitely, that a team losing 4-1, another player got man of the match, unless it was the goalkeeper. In which case, even at that, I don't think he was overly worked. Do you think it's a matter of time until we see Slot gone? Yes. Lucky David said, do you believe Salah was right and Slot or Xabi? Do I believe Salah was right? Oh God. I don't like the way he went about it so publicly and so intentionally, but it doesn't mean to say two things can't be right at once. It doesn't mean to say there wasn't some credibility to what he was trying to get across and the points he was making versus the situation. I just don't like when any situation puts a negative spotlight on our football club. But if you're going to ask me over the course of time who I hold in higher regard in Liverpool history, it's going to be Mohamed Salah, which is why I said at the time, if you were asking me to pick a side, I'm picking the side of Mohamed Salah. But a football club always has to publicly back the manager in these situations. It just has to be done, because if you don't, it unlocks a whole Pandora's box of problems. So yes to that one. Another thing to mention, getting bored of watching other teams come to Anfield and putting 11 men behind the ball. We need to be able to play better football to stop this. Did you think Barnsley came tonight and put 11 men behind the ball? Is that you, Arna, by the way? Because I didn't think that they came and put 11 men behind the ball and tried to not play football today. I thought Barnsley came and had a go, as was pretty clear in the first 30 seconds when they hit the post with a header. So, yeah, I don't agree on that part. My opinion on the manager won't change, said Eddie Cox-Wilkins. Szoboszlai man of the match for both teams tonight, said Roshi. Dumb question, but do you think Slot will get sacked? Do I think he'll get sacked? I don't know. I really don't know. He's gone in the summer. I'm almost certain of that. Unless he pulls a miracle out of his arse and wins the Champions League, I think he's gone in the summer. But I can only give you my opinion right now. And right now, if Alonso's willing to come in, then I'm saying adios, bye-bye, Slán. Off you pop, Arna. Thank you very much for the league title. Appreciate it, mate. But I'm still not convinced he's the right man for the job. And I still don't like the brand of football that he plays. I still don't like the post-match way he talks about things. And I still think he talks a load of shite. That's where I am. But I'm only ever give you my view on any situation. I'm not saying what I say is gospel, because as you can see in here, Josh said undefeated in 11, Slot won't be going anywhere in my opinion. But can I ask just one favour, right? Just one favour to anyone, whether you are Arna in or not. Can we stop talking about this undefeated in 11 from any perspective? Because it's just the biggest load of me arse. Because in there are points thrown away at Fulham, points thrown away at Leeds away, a 0-0 dull draw home, a 1-0 very good win away at Inter Milan from a late penalty, and just frustrating shit performance after shit performance. Even beating Brighton 2-0 in a game where we probably didn't feel like we deserved to win it. So that unbeaten in 11 stuff winds me up, because even the Echo, who would be very pro supporting the club and positive in what they write, are saying it is the most uninspired, unbeaten run. It's nothing to shout about, because we are still 14 points behind the leaders. Let's focus on that. We are still currently just about outside the top 8 places in the Champions League. We are out of the League Cup and we're in the 4th round of the FA Cup. See, my mods are doing their job already. I spotted a comment and I didn't click on it after it was deleted, but Harold the Dickhead tried to come in to say something along the lines of pathetic fans, ungrateful. No, mate. Not pathetic, not ungrateful, just not a dickhead like you. So, well done to Frank. Well done, Frank. You managed to get there before I banned him, so well played. And my New Year's resolution, by the way, was that I wasn't going to click on any deleted comments by the mods, and I haven't done one yet, because the mods are playing the blinder. So stop coming in trying to bait us, because we know what we see. Liverpool fans, one way or the other, have their mind made up on the manager. Whether you're Arna in or you're Arna out. To belittle other people is not acceptable here. So you're not going to come in and call my community pathetic. And I don't agree with all the comments in here, but I respect everybody's right to come in and have their say. But if you're going to have your say, then have it. You can't just come in and slag people and disappear. If you have a differing opinion and you think the manager should stay, no problem on that whatsoever. Communicate it though. Why? Put up a counter argument. Add something to the debate. But you won't, because you're only intent on trying to bait me and others into a row. So that's why you get booted out. I have no problem with people who want to back the manager. I might disagree with them, but I very much respect their right to defend the position and will give them the airtime to do so. What if by some miracle Slot wins the FA Cup or the Champions League? So the FA Cup to me wouldn't be a difference maker. But a Champions League, I would say yes. You know, I'll be very, very honest with you. I don't see him winning us the Champions League. I really do not see it. But if by some turn of events, he's still here at the end of the season and we win the Champions League, yes, I would say don't. You can't sack him. You couldn't sack a manager who's won the Premier League and backed it up with a Champions League the following season. Even if I don't like the style, even if I do find it boring, even if there are so many other things that I dislike about him, I couldn't get myself behind sacking a man who's just won a European Cup. But in that turn of events, there is a big leap of faith here to think that we get to the point where he does either of those two things. And at this moment in time, I don't have the belief or the faith that we'll get to the point where he does those two things, or either of those two things, mate, which is very much why I'm saying I think he should be fired, because I just don't like what I'm looking at. And I don't like the body language from some of the players, and I know that the dressing room is split. So, yeah, it's one of these situations where, and I've said it before, once the conversations start, in any walk of life, if there's a conversation in your office about Johnny the intern making one more mistake and then Johnny gets fired, then eventually Johnny's getting fired. If you work in a car dealership and Mary in accounts makes a mistake and they're told the next mistake they make, Mary in accounts is getting fired, then Mary's going to get fired. It's the same in football. When a conversation starts about a manager's job, it's a matter of time before the manager's gone. Especially when the fans start pushing this conversation more and more amongst themselves. So look at Alonso. And I said this to you at the time. As soon as they start talking about Xabi Alonso's time at Real Madrid maybe coming to an end, or the Super Copa being the defining thing, I told you he's getting sacked. And everything else is window dressing. Because the narrative doesn't get formed if you've got full faith in the manager. So this is why I'm so adamant that Arne doesn't turn this around, won't turn this around, can't turn this around. That's why my position is that he should be fired. And once the conversation starts, I don't think you can win back a fan base. Unless the dramatic happens. But we're not seeing the signs of the dramatic. Because one thing that has been a consistent leveller in the debate about Arne in our fan base has been not many people enjoy what they're looking at. So whether you think results are all that matter, which, by the way, I get, or whether you think results and a bit of style matters, nobody's happy. Like, nobody looks at the way we're playing and says, that's brilliant, that's easy on the eye, that's attractive football, that's going to get me up off my seat, that's going to get me kid to fall in love with the sport. It's not inspiring football. It's not edge of your seat football. It's not blood and thunder, 100% emotion-filled football. And I am bored shitless of it, personally. That's my take on it. I'm always going to be grateful to a manager that delivers a league title. And I will always appreciate Arne doing that. And Arne always comes across like a good man. But I'm at that point now where I don't see it happening. I don't see the turn. Because it's not us. We've removed the soul from how we play. And it cuts like this is going to get a little bit airy-fairy, kind of vibesy for a minute, but there's something about Liverpool that's very Liverpool. Maybe United fans will understand where I'm coming from as well. But it isn't just about winning. It's about winning in a particular way. And for Liverpool fans to really be enamoured with the team and to fall in love with the team and the manager and those players, it takes aggression, it takes a bit of style, and it takes substance. And there isn't enough of that aggression and that fight and that attacking play to make us fall in love. And that's where I think he'll fall down ultimately, is with the brand of football. Because if you make the trade-off and you switch from a 4-3-3 Gegenpressing system to one that is supposed to stop us conceding more maybe, but hasn't, and a style that he thinks isn't boring but feels it's unlucky, I think he's got big problems and he's delusional. Because the way we play is boring and we aren't getting better in that style. We aren't becoming more attractive on the eye and we aren't becoming a better attacking unit. That's my take. Apparently Alonso wants Liverpool, Anfield Papers. I've never heard of Anfield Papers. Respectfully, again, not trying to knock them. Just I'm not on X, so I don't know who they are. So Arne Slot on Hurahan saying Szoboszlai was disrespectful. I don't think you should do that in an FA Cup game, a league game, a friendly game, or a training game. It was a weird choice. I have my opinion on it, but I'll keep it to myself and speak to Dom. So if he's talking about the little attempted backheel thing from Dom, I agree with the manager on it. I don't really give a shit what the situation is. I don't understand why he did it. Because, you know, you hear me talking about standards so many times, and the standards being something that is done over and over and over and over and over again. Well, Dom wouldn't do that against Arsenal. Dom wouldn't do that against AC Milan. So it probably was disrespectful. But either way, it was the wrong thing to do, and something he shouldn't be doing in any environment against any team on any game. So I do agree with the manager on that one. And on-field papers, Connor's just said to me, is a parody account. So one not to keep, not to put any faith in. As I said, I'm not on there, but Connor said to me, it's a parody account. So Conor Horahan told TNT it was disrespectful from Szoboszlai that he wouldn't attempt that pass in the Premier League game. He's probably right. But whether it was disrespectful or not, it was wrong of him to try it. Is the thing I'd focus on, same as the manager. And whether he would do in a Premier League game or not, to me as a Liverpool fan, is irrelevant. I just don't understand the thought process, full stop. Are you worried about Managerial in goal? You know what, mate? I'd be a liar if I said I didn't have some concerns. I'd be lying to you. I'm very much was behind the signing at the price it was. But even then, I did say I don't understand why we're not keeping Creevy around. I think, put it this way, right now I think Creevy Kelleher is a better keeper than Georgie Mamardashvili. Can Georgie Mamardashvili go on to be a better goalkeeper than Creevy Kelleher? Potentially. So I understood the signing of him, but I am yet to be fully convinced. He hasn't made mistakes, but he's not. I don't remember him saving too many things that I didn't think he should be saving anyway, if that makes sense. And there was a couple of times during the game I mentioned, even his distribution. Like there was one goal kick where Virgil played it to him and he went long and he put it to a Barnsley player and there was a Liverpool player within 10 yards of him. So there are things like that I am wholly unconvinced about. And the reason I'm a bit more willing to say it about a goalkeeper versus an outfield player is I think goalkeepers to a lesser extent rely on rhythm than outfield players. You know, because goalkeeping is about repetition, about getting up off the ground, saving it, up quicker, saving it, just doing things in repetition and training that then becomes second nature in a match. Whereas players, they do need to feel the game a bit more, the outfield players, and that's why their rhythm is more important. So yeah, I am a bit more concerned, yeah. Rumours slots renewal have been quiet. Rumours on slots renewal have been quiet, sorry. Very quiet. But would you be offering him a contract renewal right now if you were the owners? And I think that in itself, mate, is probably telling, right? Because, as you said, there is no real talk about it, which was very much there over the summer at the start of the season. Joey said that was not convincing. Couple of wonder goals, but we made it hard work. I didn't like the play. Lucky they didn't score off the post. Yeah, you'd like to think, Joey, wouldn't you, that we took a warning from that first 30 seconds. But the game was harder work than it needed to be. And the scoreline flatters us because it was the late subs that won the game so convincingly. But we shouldn't have had to have gone to the bench. If we should have been going to the bench in this game in the 60th minute mark, 65th minute mark, to be bringing on Calvin Ramsey, to be bringing on Trey Neone, to be bringing on players like that. Players like Endo that need minutes to get back into their legs. But instead what we had to do was turn to Ugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz. And I know Trey Neone came on, but that was 87 minutes time, garbage time minutes. And that, again, to me, is an indictment on the manager. Because when he picked that 11, we all thought, surely this is an 11 that gets the job done. And then he gets to take players off around 60, 65. But it didn't happen. We made hard work of it. And we ended up having to bring on players that now have more minutes in their leg than the manager probably would have wanted them to. And I just don't think, again, that's a good look on the coach. Sonder said, sorry if we're not happy with 177 draws. Fair. The Lolly, how are we, bro? Hope you're well, and Happy New Year to you as well. Hey, Craig, am I alone? I can't help but feel overwhelming joy after a victory anymore. 4-1, okay. Sorry, I'm going to read that again, Lolly, because I read it incorrectly. I'm going to start it again for you, bro. Hi, Craig, am I alone? I can't feel that overwhelming joy after a victory anymore. 4-1, okay, it feels like buying a bag of potatoes in Aldi, but wow, the yippee is gone. No, you're not on your own. Absolutely, mate, not on your own. Um, yeah, I'm not going to be going to bed tonight thinking, yeah, 4-1 victory, played them off the park, we're back. Yay. There will be positives I'll take from that game. I'm happy that Veert's got himself another goal and an assist, and that, that will hopefully build up his confidence a bit more. I'm delighted that Hugo Ekitike getting on the score sheet again. So there are little things that, yeah, I will take from it. But there will also be some annoyances that I'll take from it about, again, how we weren't able to just swat away a League One team at Anfield. So no, you're not on your own, mate. Everything just feels like... Do you know the way they talk about players when they get to the... Or fighters? Fighters, players, anybody in sport, when they get to the end of their career, they're having to work harder to do the things that used to come easier to them. So a fighter might have to run an extra bit more to lose the weight that they had to lose, or a footballer might have to put in a bit more effort to make a sprint that used to be a lot easier. As a Liverpool fan right now, it feels like you're having to work harder to take any enjoyment from the game under Arne than you used to. That's the way I try to analogize it. Oh, here's another one. And again, mate, I'm about to rip you apart, just so you know, because of the tone that you've said here. So I'll read your comment out and then about to pull you apart. You'll never walk alone until the fans don't like you. We waited 30 years. Slot gave us joy last year. Now everybody wants him gone. Can't we back the man until the end? So, you'll never walk alone. You think that is carte blanche. Firstly, that's the first mistake, right? You'll never walk alone. You think is carte blanche to just mean you can do anything and forever be with us. What you'll never walk alone means is that you're part of our family. And you will always be part of our family. And you will always be welcome back. And you are one of us. And Arne is. And yes, we waited 30 years for a league title. Arne didn't deliver that weight of 30 years for a league title by the way Jurgen did. But either way, are we grateful that Arne won it? Yes. He was also backed with £450 million to improve the team. He was also then told to implement his own style on it. So why should we, the fans, be grateful for going backwards after spending £450 million? So it isn't about people just wanting the manager out for the sake of it. Certainly not from my perspective. The "you'll never walk alone" thing is right up there with that absolute bullshit quote of "if you can't support us when we lose, don't support us when we win." It's cherry picking quotes to suit your narrative. Because what happened about Liverpool being a bastion of invincibility? So the "you'll never walk alone" shit I've explained, giving you my take on. And can't we back the man until the end? Well, the end should have already happened. So I think he's getting longer in the job than any other club would have given him. So I think Liverpool have gone above and beyond here to keep him in his job. Maresca, gone. Alonso, gone. Amorim, gone. This manager, the one that "you'll never walk alone", well, he's overseen the most defeats in a calendar year in the 133-year history of the football club. He's been beaten by 3 goals, 3 games in a row. And I could go on and on and on. But most importantly, he is uninspiring as a protagonist in the way he plays his football. So please stop with this fucking holier than thou bullshit, because I can sit here for an hour and pull it apart, because it's bullshit. And your whole narrative and the way you start the conversation is to belittle me and anybody with a differing opinion. So firstly, fuck you. Secondly, grow up. And thirdly, no, mate, we're perfectly entitled to demand a little bit more. Because you know who celebrates 1 league title in 30 years and doesn't ever give out again after that? Tin pot clubs. Clubs that aren't used to success. Which is why we partied in Ibiza like we'd never won a league title. Which is why we jibbed off the second half of the season. Which is why we were knocked out of the Champions League and beaten in the League Cup final. Beaten by fucking Plymouth. So don't make out like everything was sweetness and light. This manager plays a boring ass brand of football and has made a team that has been backed with nearly £500 million worse in the league than before. Them's the facts, my man. Can't argue with the facts. But, you'll never walk alone and all that jazz. You definitely have a "this means more" t-shirt at home, don't you? You do. John sent you one of them, didn't he? You definitely have a "this means more." Tottenham sacked Ange after winning the Europa. Yeah, but no, they don't have "you'll never walk alone" as a catchphrase, so that, It's just he's just another one of those fucking idiots that just wants to come in to try to belittle somebody. He could have absolutely made his point without the "you'll never walk alone until fans don't like you." That's the part that winds me up. Why not just say we waited 30 years and Slot gave us joy last year, now everyone wants him gone. Can't we just support the man till the end? Could have just went with that for the comment, but no, had to put the snidey little dig in at the start of it, and that's why he got shown the disrespect that he did. I keep saying it. I will show people what they show my community. No respect means bye-bye. Are you still happy are you still happy to be won over by Slot? Always. All my opinions evolve. I don't expect to be won over, though. And to be honest with you, mate, it's going to take an awful lot to be won over. Because I'm not enjoying the football. I'm very happy we won tonight, and I'm very happy we're in the next round of the FA Cup. And I sung our praises for the performance against Arsenal, because I think in circumstances where a dogged defensive performance was called for, we delivered it and done it well. And that deserved its praise. But yeah, I'm still not seeing it. I'm still not seeing a change or a style that I'm on board with, or that makes me feel like this has been an unlucky patch, if you get me. Any thoughts on Hugo and Wirtz's season so far? Yeah, loads of them. It's been a very interesting experiment to look at the interpretation of both their seasons so far, right? So you look at Hugo Ekitike and you talk to a lot of people and they'd say Hugo Ekitike's season has been brilliant since he's come in and has continued to be brilliant, and they'd be right. But if people talk about Wirtz, some people were willing to write him off because they were just goal and assist merchants, and we're just looking at those two things. And we kept saying in conversations on here, if you can't see that he's getting better every week, then I can't help you. And now those things are starting to add into Wirtz's game. And the things that he's always been doing or have been getting better at has now happened, but the goals and assists have come as well, and the praise comes after that. So I find it an interesting thought experiment, because I think both of them have had good seasons, but one of them was just needing a bit more to develop into the league and the role, and is getting there bit by bit. So yeah, both of them have had good seasons so far, but I found it interesting to just watch from the outside as the different narratives have formed around their seasons. Where are we? Lucky David. Hi Craig, once again I see fans telling me that why are we sacking we become like Man United, but they know that if Klopp saw his team playing like this, he'd be happy. So again, on this thing, right, don't sack the manager, we don't want to become United. What they mean by becoming United is that they've been scratching around trying to find success in a league title since Sir Alex left. Well, we've already won a league title since Jurgen left, so that part of it's already been boxed off. And look, again, there's a narrative to the likes of Ian Doyle at the Echo used that wound me up, and that when I and Liverpool fans were asking FSG to spend money, the narrative that Ian Doyle and the Echo liked to paint about me and other people was that we wanted to be like Chelsea and Manchester City. So there's always going to be an extreme version of people that think if you say anything, you're all the way down here. But the truth is, most people around Ireland are somewhere in the middle percentages, where they know deep down that isn't good enough. They are respectful of the league title, but they know it isn't good enough. And that's where most of us, I think, are. So I think Liverpool fans have been more respectful than a lot of other clubs' fans will have been in the situation that we've seen some of our results this season, where you would have heard boos at Old Trafford, you would have heard boos at Spurs Gaff, you would have heard boos elsewhere. So, yeah, look, I'm going to say it again. I don't think he's good enough. I would fire him. And now that Alonso's available, that's even supercharged my belief that Arna should be gone. But my decision on this, or my opinion on it, is just an opinion. The owners are the ones that matter here. Arna on the win said, good win, not the performance, but the result. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Arna on Vert's performance from the bench said, if you come in for half an hour and you have a goal and an assist, another few good moments, you can definitely say he brought something creative to the team, and that's what was needed today. Which again is true, and I can't really push back on. But what I would say is it's an indictment of where we are, that we needed to bring them lads on. That's where my head's at. Because a team that's good enough with the 11 we started with wouldn't have needed Wirtz and Ekitike to come off the bench. It should have been Ramsey and Nioni, and maybe Endo to get minutes back into his legs that were coming off the bench, rather than having to try and see out the game and make sure that it didn't go to 2-2, which is why those subs were made. And look, it worked, but it shouldn't have had to get to that point, if you get me. When Alisson leaves, we should buy Kelleher back. So here's my honest answer on Alisson when he leaves. I am very, very, very firmly burying my head in the sand on that one, because I can't for a second contemplate it. Because there won't be anybody. It's like Jurgen, right? When Jurgen left, I couldn't even think about the next Jurgen, because there is no next Jurgen. And whoever Alisson's superseding goalkeeper is going to be, they're not going to live up to Alisson. They just aren't, because he's a generational talent. Same with Virgil van Dijk. We might bring in a world-class centre-back that could lead us for the next 5 to 7 years. But they're not Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, Superman. Because these are the guys. The You'll Never Walk Alone merchant earlier on. These are the guys, along with Jurgen, that delivered that league title. These are the difference makers. Your Mohamed Salahs, your Alisson Beckers, your Sadio Mane's, your Bobby Firmino's, your Virgil van Dijk's, your Jurgen Klopp's. They're the people that got us. They're the people that turned the doubters into believers. They're the ones that restored the club to where it was. Arna came in, did a good job extending the fitness for the first season. But again, let's not forget the other parts of it. Out of the Champions League at the first knockout stage, beaten by Plymouth in the FA Cup, and lost the final of the League Cup to Newcastle, and were badly beaten on the day. So it isn't even in the league title win. Let's not paint like last season was perfect either way. Who do you think played best this game? Me? I'd probably say Szoboszlai, even with the mistake. Szoboszlai, yeah, I'm going to say Szoboszlai was probably, for me, our best player. Still don't understand why he did what he did. It was silly. But there were enough good moments from him in the game, especially with the goal that he scored and a few other things that would probably still edge you. But on that, actually, let's look at the Anfield Agenda Man of the Match, where we have almost got 6,000 votes. So we'll let it get to 6,000 votes and we'll knock it on the head. But your options for your Anfield Agenda Man of the Match, folks, are Frimpong, Szoboszlai, Wirtz or Ekitike. And we're nearly there. We're about 35 votes away. Hi mate, I still haven't forgotten the shout out you gave me in pre-season last season. Friend of Lee's, you gave me tickets. Would be incredible to collab. And yes, of course, mate. I'll tell you what I'll do, Ant. If this is all right, I'll get you on for an episode of the podcast, mate. How about that? Yeah, because we are actually on the lookout to bring in an extra person for rotation, because obviously Chris can't make it all the time with his work commitments, and if I'm sick or Connor's sick. So can you do me a favour, bro? Can you, I don't know if you have my number, but can you get Lee to give you my number and WhatsApp me, mate? And we'll sort it out that way, because it was a pleasure meeting you, by the way. You're welcome to tickets for the show. My pleasure to do it. But yeah, would love to get you on as one of the options for us for the podcast, because we do need to bring in one more, and you probably be perfect for it. So if you just get Lee to give you my number and tell him I said it's okay, and just drop me a message on WhatsApp. Stevie Boy said, is it fair to say players and manager smoke a joint before the game because we play so relaxed with no energy? So what you're saying is pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side? I don't know, man, but I agree with you with a lack of real urgency, effort, fight. It's just too passive, Stevie boy, and I can't get with the program, mate. It's all too passive and too, I don't know. It's football paint by numbers for me. It's just I don't know. I need more emotion to it. I don't know. It's not grabbing me by the bollocks like and dragging me along with them. It's just kind of me. Chiesa is rubbish as a starter. He's a super sub, said Lucas Jeffrey. Look, whatever happens with Fede, I just want him to leave the club to get minutes elsewhere. Because it isn't going to work out at Liverpool. It's been too long now that the situation feels weird all around. He's such a lovely guy. Has been a model professional, has always trained well, never publicly complained, and comes across like a lovely lad. And I genuinely, if we could get in another player for ourselves to beef up the attack, I wouldn't begrudge him a move one minute, because, he needs to play football, and it isn't going to happen at Liverpool, so whatever happens there, it's just been a weird situation all around, the Chiesa one from start to finish. But what I would say on his performance tonight is, like other outfield players, I won't really want to judge a player until they've played 5, 6, 7, 8 good games in a row with the best players we have. Now tonight it was certainly a stronger team than the one he went out and played when he played against Plymouth. Certainly far better players around him in Liverpool shirt tonight. And he didn't really do anything to light the world on fire tonight, to be honest with you. But it was a performance that I think was very understandable from a player that's had limited to very little opportunities. Whopper said people raging or ragging on Chiesa. He's playing with Gakpo and Rio. I'd like to see him start with Verts and Ekitike. Unfair Chiesa comes off instead of Gakpo. I didn't like that change. I was thinking in my own head at the time, just let him have the 90. Unless there was instruction, and let's be fair, we don't know. There could have been some instruction that because he hasn't played at a high intensity for 90 minutes for long, that maybe he gets into the danger zone of an injury. So unless there was something like that was in Arna's mind, I agree with you on the change. I would have rather to leave him out there to get the minutes. Jurgen, like Kenny before him, was more than just a manager. He was a father to the players and made them run through hoops from we were spoilt, said Chris Thorne. Yes, we were, sir. Yes, we were. Yeah, he was magic. He was a generational talent. And I promise you, Chris, I wasn't expecting the next manager to be Jurgen Klopp. And I went on and I defended Arne all last season. But what turned it for me was this season. And what I expected in pre-season, Chris, was us to come out in the new year, very much going for that PSG mould of performance, which was up in your face, high intensity, high risk, high reward, super gegenpress, but very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very intentional with the style of play that we played and the way that we played it. But that's not what we got. What we seem to get is this hodgepodge of possession for the sake of possession with no real personality to the brand of football. And that is why I've absolutely just given up on the manager at this point and don't like the style of play at all. Right, so your man of the match vote. With 44% of the vote, Dominic Szoboszlai is your Anfield Agenda man of the match. And thank you so much to everybody that did vote. Really appreciate you taking the time. Slot only does missionary. Fact. Snooze fest. So Joey, there you go. You heard it there first from Joey. I don't think the players care or understand how poor we are right now. There's a lack of care and effort every game. Said Casal, thank you, mate. Appreciate your input. You missed my super chat, Craig, bro. David, you must feel like I have an agenda against you. I swear to God, you more than any other human being, bro, I miss your super chats. I must owe you about 10 pints and 15 apologies at this point. Here it is, though. Evening, Craig Brown community. Verts looks good. Mate, I'm so sorry. You must think I do it on purpose at this point, Ava. But yeah, apologies, bro. And much love to you as always. And yes, Verts does look good. So right, look, I'm going to go record the player ratings video, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to submit your player rating scores, you can do so with the QR code in the bottom corner of the screen or by joining the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, which you can do, I said, with that QR code or the link in the description. Really quickly, on Rio Wengamoa's injury, Arna said this: I hope that it's cramp. I expect it to be cramp as well. He hasn't played that many minutes this season. Today he had 70 to 75 minutes. That's good for him without wanting to disrespect them. The intensity in the Premier League is even higher. That's a nice first aid for Rio, so keep working really hard to play 90 minutes at this level. So hopefully it is just cramp. And yeah, look, I will be back streaming live tomorrow with a late night agenda. We'll have a news video tomorrow. Connor will have a news video in the morning as well. Appreciate all of you again tonight.